Girl, it's what I heard. Allegedly, it's just the word. Allegedly, it's on the street. Allegedly, I sing to the beat. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly.
So let's get to Carlos King's thoughts on Rob the Throb. See, Rob, you a thug. You be lying, you be putting fingers in the face. But Carlos is 38 hot. Carlos, you are really invested in a network that you no longer work for. Why don't you spend this much time on the heifers from OWN, where you have your successful franchises? Why are you so focused on the bees of Bravo? So Juan's excuse was, it was the pandemic, I was bored. But, when was Robyn ever interesting? Juan's been bored. The panty ain't have nothing to do with that. Don't put it on the vi-vi. Don't blame it on the rain. Girl, no, it is so funny how Carlos can understand what is wrong when it comes to this show, but not when it comes to stealing Candy's life story and pumping Heifer Joyce for behind-the-scenes tea on her family. But all of a sudden, Rob not saying this on the show that pays her, hiding her story from the world, or was she hiding the world from her story? He said this is a slap in the face to Bravo. Girl, you still want to get back. You like Nene Leakes. You got all this going on at home, at OWN, but you keep Bravo's name in your mouth. Okay, he finally starts talking about Bell Collective. He said season 3 is going well. Then again, you said that about Love and Marriage DC, so we know you just love to lie. He is angry. This season is the second worst season in the entire franchise. I want to know why you're not calling out your friends in production. Because Rob the Throb Dixon doesn't have the kind of power to mold storyline production does. Why didn't production put her business in the street, in the street? That's the real question. Why don't you ask the real powers that be? He was disturbed by the revelation filled with nonchalantness and laughter. It shouldn't have been whimsical, but earnest. Well, there was nonchalantness and laughter because their relationship is a joke. He said none of you are living your real lives, and Rob's admission puts it all front and center. Potomac is a show about women tearing each other down. Duh. I mean, that's the theme, the light-skinned mean girl. That's the theme of the show. It's not about their real lives because the star, the face of the show, Gabrisi, doesn't have a real life. And you know this, Carlos. Is this just dawning on you? Are you that stupid? Is your head as thick as your tongue? I've said it before and I'll say it again. They said, now you misleading me and having her think she can get out here and fake the funk. He said, it ain't Michael B. Jordan, it's Mia B. Lion. All right, Carlos. Carlos comes to us with some new information and says, we spent this entire half-ass season with these lies about Chris Bassett, and they were lies. He knows for a fact that the heifers met up before shooting and they decided to throw Chris on the coals. I bet you it was Gabrice and Gabrisi. One of her faces did it. One of her lonely faces. Or one of her droopy necks. I'm going to start calling you Jizzy the Neck. He says, so you spent months filming, telling everybody else's business. Meanwhile, your own was brewing at home, and you couldn't even give us a spoonful, because we know Juan would leave. She don't want to give Juan any more reason to step out. And why aren't we holding Juan's feet to the fire for embarrassing his boys? He said, Jizzy, you got it coming too, because you sure did keep everybody's mind on Karen and Charisse. He said, Giselle, you didn't have to air out yourself, but you could have passed it along since you want to pretend to be an EP. Girl! Dave Quinn just wrote The Real Housewives of Patreon. I cannot. Girl, they want Rob fired. Now, I'm wondering, did Rob do this to boost her business because she knows she may not get a contract for next year, or because of Juan's lawsuit, she doesn't want to be in the public eye like that anymore? She'd rather slink off and do her little podcast, sucking off the Housewives brand like a barnacle. Because she'll still be at BravoCon, and Jizzy will still be on the show, so she'll get the fallout, and she'll still get a check or two from the podcast and her cap coin. Because we all know Rob has a little bit of lazy in her. Carlos said you should have gotten Rob to do a thing with you. No, you should have told Ashley's messy self. Because that's right up Ashley's assy alley. Ashley don't mind going low. He said you could have made this a whole plot line, Rob. You could have said this is why I was so depressed. I couldn't get out of my bed because Juan was in someone else's. Child, Carlos trying to be me today. He said a lot of people don't understand why you're on the show. No, we understand. You are the calm thug. And the truth is you're still on the show because Monique said 410. Is that his number? I have a full binder. And then she quit because she didn't need that little check, but you do. And Jizzy will always go to bat for you. You'll put a finger in her face. That's why you're there. To be the aggressive lesbian. This show has an undercurrent of lesbonics, and let's not say it doesn't. Carlos, let's talk about that. They found the most repressed women in all of Potomac. Oh, and Carlos got a point. Y'all made false allegations last season about Wendy's husband when your own was stepping out. And Giselle, you didn't even have one. You are nowhere near an altar. We can't mention you in this conversation because you're manless. I am sure Wendy is feeling so vindicated right now. They tried to tear her marriage apart, and that's why she was like, I'm not letting this happen. I bet all them heifers knew about Juan's hussy. I mean, they could definitely tell Rob wasn't getting none. Or was she? Rob, were you also keeping this quiet because you were getting some keck? Child, he is going in like this is a behind-the-scenes production meetings. You OGs have disappointed me. It is your job to let the newbies know what is actually going on. And here you are lying, misleading, faking the funk. Oh, he said after this, nobody ever needs to compare Atlanta and Potomac. At least on Atlanta, they had the revelation at the reunion. Well, since I got a cease and desist, Phaedra? Who said that? The lies! That's true. That was excellent television, and y'all missed out on that opportunity. And honestly, now we're going to look at the reunion kind of like the Salt Lake Shitty reunion. Oh, I need to get to that. That was the first episode of that this week. But we don't really care because we already know Jen lied. You can't lie all season because then we look back and it's like, it's got to be a big reveal at the end, but you got to come clean at some point. Carlos, no, you say you're very honest, but when are you going to talk about that light falling on Elise Neal's head? I want to hear about that since you're so honest. We want an Elise Neal episode. We want to know why Hollywood Divas is no longer, why you and Todd fell out. Was it over that light? And then she sued and y'all had to pay $300,000 for her medical bills? Was it that? Or was it the fact that you tried to steal Candy's life story? Because Candy ain't never lied. Since you're so honest, be honest about that, Carlos. Share your story, your reality. Just, wow, Rob. I mean, I don't know if you're going to come back or not. I can't believe we're this excited, this interested, this here for Dixon moment. Although really, you didn't do anything. You did nothing. Nothing. Your husband, your roommate, rather, had an affair. Well, was it really an affair? Were you really together? Your roommate slept with someone else. You, as usual, have just sat there like a bump on a stump. Now, this is interesting. Rob says she assumed that the other girls would bring it up. I think that just goes to show they didn't care about you. They didn't care to bring it up. They didn't even want that kind of an interaction with you. They said, you know what, we're not even going to give you that kind of a plot line. They left you there out to dry. They had a juicy story about you, and they swept it under the rug. They don't want to be bothered with you. Jizzy don't want to be bothered with you. That's why Jizzy didn't say take the bull by the horn. He said you pissed in the face of everyone who works hard to give a great show. And you know what? He does have a point. He does have a point because this lie has ruined the reunion. This does make the genre look fake, although we know it is fake. And he got a little point. He got a little bit of a point. He is pissed y'all went on Patreon to get your pennies. Shit, it's your business. You may as well get first check. Carlos said you would be fired. Fired, tired. You would be tired for pissing at his face. Girl, the way he calling out his cast, it sounds like he got them in a 360 deal. He probably getting a piece of their Instagram, their YouTube, their podcast. He's like, oh no. He said, I'm in charge of the girls. Then he goes into talking about he got a cease and desist from trying to sign somebody who had 2 months left on the contract and the heifer lied. And this is why he don't work with certain people no more. Because unless you gonna give him your business, take your business elsewhere. Girl, he checked them hard. He said they joined reality for the wrong reasons. Oh my God. Carlos said, y'all disrespect the reality platform. You're using it to say to your high school bullies, look at me now. Who even knows who they went to high school with anymore? Child, we in our 40s. I can't remember none of them people names. He's giving grace to production. He's like, I don't know if they were aware of her issues, but it was his mentee that's the showrunner. Why don't you light him up? But oh no, you're going to keep that private. Oh God, now he going back to Housewives season 6, the best season of all time. And they've come nowhere near to giving that. Girl, that was 10 years ago. You sound like somebody that graduated high school but can't stop talking about that senior year in football where they hit that last touchdown and won the game. That's how you sound, babe. That's how you sound. Oh, Carlos said, while we at it, Karen. Karen, come on out, girl. Let's see your man. He said these lies will get you fired. It happened to Lisa Vanderpump, so I wouldn't have no more alleged meetings if I were you. He said, Potomac, you in danger, girl. Honestly, I would love it if they use this as a reason to fire Jizzy and Rob. Then I wonder how their little podcast would do. Because Jizzy knew. I think this is time for a shakeup because if y'all gonna lie, we're not gonna watch for the lies. Who in the chat is gonna watch for the lies? Hands? Hands, I wanna see who's going to watch for the lies. That's why Phaedra ain't come back. The lies. The lies, the lies, the lies. Carlos is also tired of the show being a shade fest. That's not why we watch. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We watch them to say snarky, funny things. That's part of its charm. I mean, Nene's bloop, close your legs to married men. Who gonna check me, boo? I mean, that's why we watch, because the women are funny and interesting. I would say, I think I know what you mean, where the shade and the reads have gotten too deep, where it should be more about your tacky outfit or, you know, your dirty plates or something like that. Something light and subtle. It's getting too deep where it's like, you're a poor mother. Well, that's why your husband left. Like, it ain't got to be that every time. It could just be, oh, that dress is so busy. It's really you. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. That'll give you a little... Exactly. Fix your mouth. Fix that face. He said Love and Marriage DC this season was the talk of the town. I didn't even hear about it. I didn't know it was on. It was the talk of the town. I heard Love and Marriage. Huntsville just had its reunion. But I didn't hear that Love and Marriage DC had even finished its second season, much less aired it. But it was the talk of the town. What town? What town? What town was it the talk of? Carlos said he's getting so emotional about this coming Sunday's episode, he wants to blame it on the pre-workout. Honey, it's not the pre-workout, it's perimenopause. That's what you're going through. Perimenopause. God, he's plugging his shows now, child. Get back to Rob's lies. And I think that's what I'm going to start calling him. The perimenopausal Carlos King. Oh, God. He said he's looking forward to Atlanta this season. Martell's going to be on. That Carlos King magic you can't escape. Honey, can't escape. You are trying to suck Bravo's boots. My goodness, you would eat a mile of their shit just to see their asshole wink at you. I don't know why you left, because you do nothing but talk about Bravo shows. Nothing but. Have your guests, Bravo guests. When you gonna have Candy Burris or Todd? What's Todd's last name? Todd Burris on. He says, so Potomac Heifers, if you're listening, Jizzy, you're gonna have to give some personal story. She doesn't have one. We watched her try to renovate that barn. She doesn't have a story. She's boring. The only thing she's good at is being a mean girl, and that's why she can't keep a man. Because men don't like that. Men may be attracted to her originally, but they see there's nothing there, and they leave. They simply leave. Because it takes more than a Kegel to hold on to a man. And he ends it with a cryptic message to Giselle that she needs to follow his advice that he gave to her at Portia's wedding. If you need to call him, reach out. Okay, girl, we get it. You best friends with all the reality stars. You sound like that high school student you was mentioning earlier. But I will see you soon to talk more about, well, again, we're not really talking about Rob. Well, I guess we're talking about Rob's decision to lie. At least that's one thing she's done that's interesting in 7 years. Have we ever talked about Jizzy this much? Yes, with heard lies about Jamal, because is he coming? No, of course not. Jizzy's wedding was in vain, and so was Rob's. Were their weddings in vain? No, no, no. Is they man's coming? No, no, no. I'd rather be single than embarrassed. You know what? I'm actually going to congratulate Rob for pulling a shrewd PR move. We haven't talked about Robyn Dixons this much in 7 years on the show, and she has solidified a spot for season 8. I have to say, shrewd move, sir. Shrewd. She said, look, I'ma get paid. Put my pain on the Patreon.
Alleged what? Alleged who? Allegedly, allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue. Allegedly, allegedly. Allegedly.